Imagine for a moment you're tuning an old radio, trying to catch a faint signal amidst static. Suddenly, amidst the crackles, a clear voice emerges. This poetic endeavor might easily describe Matthew McKay's extraordinary journey into the realms of after-death communication. McKay, a seasoned clinical psychologist, brings not only decades of expertise, but also a personal narrative that delves into the deep vibrations connecting life and the beyond. Today, let's unwrap this mystically charged, scientifically challenging, yet inherently human quest. We start by plunging into the icy waters of tragedy. McKay's world turned upside down with the heartbreaking loss of his son, Jordan. But this tale takes a twist, steering us from loss to an astonishing discourse with the afterlife. McKay attests having engaged in hundreds of conversations with Jordan through induced after-death communication, IADC, and channeling, techniques that many might equate with dialing into the ethereal frequencies of those who've passed away. Picture IADC for a moment, a therapeutic technique resembling eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, EMDR, which is primarily used for processing trauma. It transcends typical therapeutic boundaries by venturing into posthumous interaction. Critics might raise skeptical eyebrows, prompting us to question the veracity and psychological underpinnings of such encounters. However, considering that grief transcends logic, might there be a therapeutic edge to this that we cannot dismiss outright? Delving deeper, Jordan's messages from beyond pivot around profound thematic axes, the purpose of life and soul dynamics. Surprisingly, these ethereal whispers don't coax avoidance of pain, but rather encourage embracement of growth and evolution through challenges. It's a cosmically intertwined concept. Our souls evolve, and by extension, so does the cosmic consciousness. It's less about exiting life's theater unscathed, and more about learning lines of love, resilience, and interconnectedness. Here, McKay softly but profoundly critiques traditional religious frameworks, advocating a spirituality embedded in unconditional love and interconnectedness. This point is revolutionary, stretching beyond conventional religious practices often delineated by doctrines and dogmas, suggesting a spirituality that's as boundless as love itself. Now, let's take a microscopic look at the spectrum of McKay's insights. Through personal anecdotes and these profound multidimensional communiques, McKay alleviates his fear of mortality. He portrays the afterlife not as a shadowy, unreachable realm, but rather as a landing place, a sort of cosmic lounge where souls adapt to non-corporeal existence. Here, the dead undergo a life review, echoing spiritual and religious narratives around the world. It's like watching an existential replay, painting a vivid picture of one's impact, a panoramic view of causality and connection through one's lifetime. Transitioning this conversation into the corridors of therapy, McKay brings to light the therapeutic potential of after-death communication in assuaging the echoes of grief. Love, according to him, transcends the physical dissolution of death and can continue as a thriving force, a conduit of healing and understanding. The practical offshoot of this understanding informs his work in teaching others to channel these communications, providing tools to navigate and mitigate the pain of loss. Expanding on these foundational insights, let's critically explore and inject additional layers. One scientific standpoint: how does the psychological community view these practices, especially considering the empirical leaning of modern psychology? Studies indicate potential benefits akin to other forms of grief therapy, yet skepticism remains from a methodological and evidential perspective. 2. Philosophical implications. Does McKay's narrative challenge our perception of consciousness itself? Philosophically, this pushes the envelope on discussions about the mind-body problem and the potential of consciousness existing independently of the physical brain. Inclusivity versus exclusivity in spiritual practices. McKay's critique of traditional religion brings about a wider dialogue on spiritual inclusivity. Can the experiences and methodologies endorsed by McKay serve as a bridge between divisive religious practices and a more universal, inclusive approach to spirituality? In conclusion, Matthew McKay doesn't just invite us to consider the possibility of life beyond death. He coaxes us to broaden our understanding of existence, consciousness, and the ethereal strands that might connect the material to the mystical. As we encase this narrative back into the realms of thought and contemplation, we're left to ponder the intriguing notion of a universal rehearsal, where life and its myriad encounters are but preparatory dialogues for a grander cosmic assembly. It's an invitation not merely to learn, but to re-envision the boundaries of what we know, how we love, and ultimately how we transcend.